words of Fred Flintstone. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
That's fucking gay.
I know. My name's Al. Across the table from me is my friend Joe. Together we do a little show called Kinda Right. Can I explain the Fred Flintstone thing to you?
Yes.
All right.
Please do.
Today's the 18th of January. Saturday is the 20th. It's the actual anniversary of what I'm talking about. It's a one-year anniversary of the inauguration of the greatest president in modern American history, Donald Trump. The day of the return of truth, justice, and unparalleled economic prosperity.
Are you aware that there's people like throwing up as you say that?
Well, why do you think I say it?
Well, of course.
I'm kind of a troll for that type of shit. It's also how I actually feel, by the way.
Well, you know what's funny is Tim Cook from Apple today said, I guess they're building a new campus, and they've repatriated, I don't know how much money, but a shitload of money. Brought it in offshore because of our new tax cuts for corporate. You know, we brought the tax cuts.
So you're just saying this is simple liquid money that was in an account somewhere other in the world than the States that's been brought here? What's being repatriated? The actual capital? Well, the work itself?
Well, no. Now, were you aware that Apple, because of I said this in the last podcast. Maybe
listen.
You could have been too drunk.
You know how you never listen to me ever? I usually listen to you when sometimes I don't. So fucking deal with it.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not all hurt.
What you look hurt.
I'm really not.
And you know what? I'll be the arbiter of if you talked about this specifically, by the way. So go ahead.
All right. So what happened is most of Apple's cash is in Ireland. And when I say Apple's cash, I mean to the tune of something like $500 billion.
In Irish banks? Or is it in an Irish bank? Or the Bank of Ireland
I don't
itself?
know that, but it's in
Ireland. This is fascinating. I didn't know this. Go ahead.
Because Ireland, they actually wrote, their corporate tax is like 12%. But they actually wrote a special bill for Apple, and they're giving them 2.5%, which the EU is all pissed off.
So
about.
what is it here?
It was 35, now it's 20.
Okay.
So a lot of companies are bringing their money back here because they only have to pay 20% as opposed to 35%.
Seems like a huge chunk. I know I couldn't do without 20% of my income, man. You know what I mean?
Well, 20% is a lot of money, but it's a lot less than 35%. 35% is kind of outrageous.
Yeah, it is.
And what the folks don't understand is that corporate profits, if the money's brought back in, capital's brought back into the country, then you have Apple build. Now, they were going to do some of this anyway, which, according to Tim Cook, but some of it they weren't going to do, not to this extent. So, which means that they're going to build, they want to put 20,000 people to work, and they're going to build a new campus. So this is, construction jobs, IT jobs, just a shitload of jobs brought back into the country because of a simple tax cut. And the thing that I don't know whether it's, and I'm no economist, and I couldn't put the numbers together, but if Apple spends that money, all the people that are working are going to pay taxes.
Right.
So if you lower the corporate tax rate, and I'm not trying to talk about trickle-down economics, then there is more capital for the company to spend. And if the company spends capital to
create more jobs?
Well, to make the company bigger,
right?
In the United States, then that results in more tax money to the treasury.
It also results in people getting more money to spend, and then they go out and consume.
Yeah,
And
and
when
and
people
the problem
consume-
is that now that's not trickle down economics. That's
Math.
That's well, it's pretty simple math,
Simple.
and it's something that the Democrats don't seem to grasp,
Right.
or the left, highly left wing.
I don't know. I think they grasp it. They don't care. They got blinders on. I don't know why.
Well, do you see this thing? I guess ICE is going to go and raid a bunch of.
7-Eleven stores,
Well, they're going to raid a bunch of shit in California.
mom and pop stores and shit.
And California has the Hispanic Attorney General has said that anybody that helps ICE, any employer that helps ICE, aiding ICE in capturing the illegal immigrants, will be prosecuted.
Nice.
So here's a attorney general who says if you help the federal government, who, the federal government laws trump state laws. If you help the federal government capture any illegal aliens, you're going to be prosecuted. So I think we've reached a new craziness.
With the immigration shit.
Well, I think it's a new craziness, and just in the sense that you're going to be prosecuted because you're following federal law.
Yeah, right. That is a little weird. I mean, is that any different than getting prosecuted federally for, something that you did in your state where it was legal? I mean, it's all crazy. But
Well, I don't believe
like the pot thing.
I don't believe it's
Thinking of that.
legal to. I don't know what California law says. I don't think California can say that. Did they declare themselves a sanctuary state? Did they do that? I don't remember.
I'll look that up right this second. I
But-
don't know either.
But if they
Anytime I hear sanctuary state or sanctuary city, I stop listening because I don't need to be getting worked up.
But much like
I get
pot,
worked up about that shit. It's so stupid.
much like pot, it's up to the
Pot's delicious.
it's the discretion of the federal government for better or for worse. And I don't want this asshole Sessions coming in and, they can choose to prosecute, or to shut down. They can raid every dispensary in Colorado and take all of the cash and all of the pot if they want to. Because federal law says that it's illegal.
California has considered itself a sanctuary state since March of 2017.
So when you say you're a sanctuary state, you're still part of the United States of America.
Right.
So being a legal person in the United States of America is still illegal, regardless of what California declares.
Same with pot.
So it seems like you got a guy there who just who happens to be Hispanic,
See.
and he just wants to prosecute anybody that helps the federal government.
It's kind of wacky. I mean, how you want to not...
It's kind of it's like,
What are you looking to get certain monies not fucking sent down to your state? You guys can't even fucking... Aren't they on the brink of bankruptcy? They got to be bankrupt.
California somehow
Too big to fail?
has hidden. I believe they have. I believe they're. I think it's trillion with a T. I don't know if it's trillions, but they have unfunded pension liabilities. That's more than $1,000 billion.
And this would be some fucking upset fucking
Now, I could
retirees.
be really wrong on this because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
The
about.
federal government will swallow that up too. They'll fucking figure it out. They'll make it happen. What's another trill? You know what I mean?
Well,
Fuck
I don't know.
not
Trillion,
gonna-
a trillion is a lot.
it is.
I mean, we.
But we're talking us. We're talking trills in the high teens. So what's one more trill?
I want to, Illinois is like $150 billion. California's $1 trillion.
Crazy, right?
But somehow that's been, I don't know whether they're paying into it or, it's just, it's insanity because they set these pension funds up.
I bet you New York's all fucking $100 billion or something too.
Well, there's a lot of states that are not,
I wonder if any of them are fucking
that are
in the
upside
black.
down
Let's
on this.
think.
Well, they set it up with like
South Dakota's in the black. Nah, not a lot of shit. Montana's in the black.
we're gonna turn,
Idaho and shit.
we're gonna assume a interest rate of 8%.
Yeah,
That's what we're gonna get on our
that's called
pension money.
street interest. Street interest.
And we're gonna pay all our pensioners, the $400,000 a year lieutenant at the Los Angeles Fire Department, who
Tell me that guy's not getting $400,000
a year, yeah.
on his pension. It's piggery.
Oh no, he's probably getting 80% of that.
Oh,
But then he'll work
Oink.
some overtime and it's
like
$400,000.
how about 100,000? You get
for a
100,000.
fucking idiot,
100,000.
an idiot.
Yeah. We're gonna give you 100,000. Is that okay? Yes.
Oh no,
You can
no.
live on 100 grand when you're fucking
No,
a senior.
There's insane. There's like
You don't need to.
the police chief in some fucking shithole town. I think it was Stockton, California, because that was like one of the first towns to go bankrupt.
Sounds right. Sounds familiar.
Stockton, California had a police chief pulling down $450 grand a year.
Stockton somewhere between L.A. and San Francisco, not the other way, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it had, this was the police chief, and then there were fucking 3 other cops in the town. So, and he needed $450 grand.
Right.
He does. He deserves it.
Yeah, I think Stockton's, as far as municipalities around where we live, Stockton is kind of, it's got like, I'm going to guess 100,000 people. I got to look that up, which would make it, the second biggest city in Massachusetts. Worcester, I don't think has 100,000 people. I don't think Springfield does either.
Of course, Worcester has 100.
You think so?
Of course it does. We got 60, 65 in where we are.
Oh, Stockton's got 307, so they would definitely be the second biggest.
Yeah.
in Massachusetts. I'm just saying, it's just weird when you talk about cities and stuff. The other thing, the other thing that I'm always weirded out about is like when you read an article about something that happened in China, and it's definitely a city you've never read before or heard, and they're like the city of whatever, Guangcheng, a city of 1.8 million in central China. You know what I mean? You never heard of it, but there's just so many people over there. The cities you've never heard about. You want to talk about going to a fucking alien fucking place where you never mind going in outer space and places you've never been. Mm-hmm. China is like fucking outer fucking space. You can there's shit there that you can't even imagine. I'm sure. I mean, I know people are the same everywhere you go, and cities are cities. But man, when
do you think in China you can pull into a city and they're just like there's a constant pile of bodies burning in the center of the town?
Something going on, you know what I mean?
Just fucking really and they're eating the brains out of the people.
But still, if you talk about a city with 2 million people, right? You got to figure that hopefully it's semi-modern. It probably never sleeps. It never shuts down, right? The lights are always on. Like New York, they say the city that never sleeps. I figure any 2 million person city probably ain't sleeping. Like Chicago don't sleep, right? L.A. don't sleep. New York don't sleep.
Milwaukee sleeps.
I bet you Atlanta fucking sleeps. And that's a fucking hub.
They all go to bed.
Boston definitely fucking sleeps.
Well, yeah, because nothing, 2 o'clock in the morning, and that's it.
I'll tell you right now, Washington, D.C. sleeps. You walk on the streets, you're not much going on after midnight in fucking D.C. You know what I mean? You certainly can't get a drink after 1, like here.
But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of... Well, there's so many fucking people in China.
Yeah.
Have you seen these ghost cities that they just built?
Yeah. Amazing.
I mean, built, we're talking about it's a city. It's an entire city that was built, and there's 14 people living there. You know, like there's a building that's 40 stories tall, and it has 400 apartments in it, and there's 4 people living in it.
Right.
And it's weird. It's
Fucking
like
whack. That's what I'm saying. It's like outer space.
it's like you know, the what's that movie?
By the way, those
Charlton Heston, the guy that
Omega Man,
Omega Man, he's walking around and everybody's fucking gone.
which was based on a novel called, I forget, but Will Smith was in the remake of Omega Man, which had
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. That was the name of the book that Omega
the
Man.
deal?
Yeah, that Omega Man was based on. What a great movie! I mean, you must have seen that movie 20 times, like I have, maybe more.
Omega Man?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it a lot.
By the way,
I
I
haven't
Am
seen it
Legend's pretty
recently.
good too. I Am Legend's pretty good too.
And with my new memory loss, it's in a way it's wonderful because I watch these movies and it's like watching them for the first time.
Omega Man is a wonderful movie starring the great Charlton Heston dead?
Charlton Heston, I believe he's dead.
The late great Charlton Heston,
If
creator
he's not dead, he wishes he's dead, but I believe he's dead.
creator of one of the greatest quotes ever. What was it? Only out of my cold dead hands, or whatever.
Well, it sounded like somebody wrote it for him.
I don't know about that. Old Charleston was an actor, man. These guys are all writers. You know what I mean? Actors are all writers. I think he wrote that.
Actors are not all writers.
Most of them are.
Where did you get that?
I've always been kind of fascinated. You know me, I'm kind of artsy. I'm kind of fascinated with the whole arts life and stuff. And
How dumb is Cory Booker?
I mean, I wrote that down at work yesterday. I think Cory Booker is an idiot.
Cory
And
Booker.
that guy might fucking try to run for president.
Oh yeah,
How great would that be?
he's gonna.
How great would that be? Not if
Cory Booker
just that if he gets to be the nominee, Trump will lay waste to him.
is a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
What is he, an actor? How do we get to? I was about to explain the whole acting.
I was thinking about people that write, and then
Why is Cory Booker a writer?
no.
He can't even fucking spell. I'm sure. I bet you he can't even fucking spell.
But he is
Much less fucking make a fucking intelligible sentence in cohesive English.
But he's just, I don't know. He's like a Mr. Magoo. You ever see these people? Somehow they just keep, going along, and and you look at it and go, how the fuck does this idiot keep going along?
You know what Cory Booker is?
He's an imbecile.
And he's a consummate politician.
Well, he's a politician, but he's dumb.
And he's fucking good at the politics thing. He really
He's not
is.
really even good at that.
Dude, he was like mayor of Newark. And now he's a senator from New Jersey.
Yeah, how hard is that to become senator in New Jersey?
What do you mean, how hard? How many fucking people you got to get? There's a lot of people live in New Jersey, man.
Yeah, and they're
You gotta
all
get-
Democrats.
Well, that's the other thing. They had Chris Christie couldn't run again. I wonder if he could have. They have a Democratic governor now. Do you know that?
Sure.
Guy was, I think, an ambassador to. He's like a fucking money guy, and then he was an ambassador. I want to say to Germany or something. I can't remember. I should have.
New Jersey is so expensive to live in. It's more expensive than California.
Do you think that? Well, it is pretty expensive. Do you think that Chris Christie was quoted as saying either today or yesterday that he felt that as much as he loves the Donald, and I'm sure their relationship is at best strained. As much as he loves the Donald, he feels that if there was no, he said this out loud, if there was no Donald Trump, I would be president. He thought he would have won that nomination and then beat Hillary. I don't think so, Chris. I think thank God for Donald Trump. I think if somehow you did manage to fucking not have a heart attack on the fucking primary fucking trail, had you stuck it out the whole way, that Hillary Clinton would have fucking laid waste to you.
I don't know about that.
I think so.
There was a lot of.
He's a fucking clown.
There was a lot of.
He's not a serious dude.
So there's a lot of belief that if
All right, he's serious. He's not a heavyweight. Oh, yeah, he is.
if they had run somebody like, Jeb Bush would have cleaned up on Hillary.
Yeah, Jeb Bush would have won, and I think Mario Rubio would have won.
Mario?
What the fuck's his name? Not Mario Rubio.
Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, but who the fuck would want either one of those? That's
I'd rather
the thing.
have fucking Marco Rubio than Hillary Clinton.
Oh, no, yes. Anybody but Hillary.
I think he could have beat her. Now, Jeb Bush probably would have beat her. Can you imagine? Oh, my God. Jeb Bush could be president of the United States. No Donald Trump, you're probably right. Jeb Bush would probably be president of the United States right now.
I think Jeb Bush was sort of expecting to be.
And he probably would be.
He probably would have won the nomination if there was no Trump.
I believe so. I think you're right, because you are an astute observer of presidential politics, as am I. I bet you he
Not
would.
really. I'm just saying that.
I bet you he would also be overseeing unprecedented economic prosperity as well.
Marco Rubio just. Well, of course, Jeb just wants it, but enough fucking Bush. But there's certainly less enough fucking Bush than there is no way Hillary. I mean, she just walked into that. Whose idea was that anyway to run that?
They've been talking about it since before Bill Clinton wasn't president. They've been talking.
I gotta get off this topic.
No, you don't. It's amazing because you have not an extremist take, but you have an extremist take. Not a lot of people are saying out loud what you say about Hillary. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows she's a fucking crooked cunt.
Hillary?
I mean, how perfect is fucking Donald's nickname for her? Just Crooked Hillary.
Hillary would stuff her grandchild into the fucking garbage disposal and grind it feet first.
To be president.
To death while it's screaming and
right.
Little legs being chopped up.
Yep.
And
someone makes you an offer.
She would do that in a heartbeat.
Grind your grandchild or be president.
I can see her giggling while doing it. You know, with that cackle laugh.
Checking her makeup.
Cackling.
Yeah.
While grinding
checking her hair and makeup for the fucking press conference.
She really is.
Well, now that my granddaughter has been grinded into dust.
Satan.
And I'm president.
Fucking Satan.
Yeah.
The evil has no bounds. I really believe that.
Yeah.
See, I'm not just saying it. I believe she's truly fucking evil.
Yeah. Well, hey, in the meantime.
And this guy.
This is what I wanted to get to over here. Not anyone over there specifically.
He's been swallowing some chowder.
Right. In the meantime.
You think so,
listen,
Chris? Saliza or whatever?
Have you noticed that Wolf, we're watching Wolf, and Wolf and the rest of these fucking cunts, they got visible fucking erections showing in their pants. Every time someone says Russia or collusion, much less Russian collusion or whatever.
Oh, they love it.
They fucking
love it.
They're on, it's like coke to them. They take it and they're on fucking alert, man. It's like Vivarin.
Who told him that those blue frame glasses look
what's that cat's name? Do you know?
Yeah, he's
watching a panel on CNN.
No, I don't know who's talking now.
This isn't the Situation
I believe
Room,
he's
right?
probably black, but he's one of those
No,
black guys
the
that
guy
doesn't look black.
Oh,
Him,
yeah,
right?
he might be. The guy on the end?
He is. No, in the middle.
No, I know what you're saying.
Guy
the guy in the
middle's-
middle's black. He's black.
Well, no, but you can't really tell. Could be a white guy.
No, he's black.
He's one of those black guys that don't look black.
He's black, man. He's at least Puerto Rican or something. You know what I mean? Cape Verdean or some shit. He's got a Cape Verdean
I don't
grandfather.
know who he is, but is Chris...
He's got nappy hair, though.
Saliza or something? He writes for the Washington Post, I believe.
The fucking fictitious novel that is the Russian investigation. It's like a fucking fairy tale to a child. They get all worked up. Read me a story. You know what I mean?
Well, I listened today. Apparently,
their nipples get hard.
I guess Steve Bannon went in to testify.
He didn't say much. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right a lot, from what I heard. I haven't.
No,
he
just wouldn't answer the question.
I slept all day.
He just said these are. I don't know whether he declared executive privilege or something, but he said I'm not answering that. And so did Corey Lewandowski. He said, this is private talk.
Oh, he invoked presidential privilege or lawyer, whatever they call it.
I don't know.
He's not a lawyer.
Something.
Not executive privilege. That's what it's called.
Executive privilege.
Executive privilege. Interesting.
which it doesn't help because it gives the Democrats a bunch of, oh, well, see, there's something there. They're hiding something.
Right. Speaking of fucking dishonest media and presidential politics, do you see the ball buster in chief, Donald Trump?
Yeah.
You see, yesterday he literally had an official fake news awards.
Did he have them?
He had them, yeah. And
Who got them?
well, I know that there was a dude from CNN. I'm going to tell you specifically right now. So vamp for 5 seconds, will you?
I'm gonna go.
You're going to pee? No, I said vamp. I didn't say go pee. We're going to take a 2-second break here, everybody.
Back on.
Well, all right. So we don't have to take a break, but you're right. So Donald Trump had his inaugural, the most dishonest and corrupt media awards of the year, which the top 3 recipients were, number 1 was the New York Times' Paul Krugman, ABC's Brian Ross was second, and then CNN as a whole was third. So what these guys did, if you remember, Krugman won first place in the inaugural trophy ceremony for having predicted on the day of Trump's election that the stock market would never recover from the election.
Yeah.
This guy's an economist, and he wrote that it really does not look like President Donald J. Trump and the markets are plunging. If the question is when the markets will recover, my first pass answer is never. What a fucking idiot, right?
Have you seen Paul Krugman?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. Why? He look like he fucked a dog or something?
Oh, he looks like he's not only has he fucked several dogs and other small animals,
Balls deep in one right now.
but he's got like 7 or 8 fucking dildos all the way up his ass. I mean, his eyes are bugging out of his head.
Right.
He's a shifty-eyed little fucking maniac. And somehow they gave him a Nobel Prize
Come on.
for economy.
Really?
For economics, yes.
I should get a fucking Nobel Prize for
And he
economy.
writes for the New York
if he
Times,
did.
and he's consummately fucking wrong.
Right.
He's wrong like 87% of the time.
So he's clearly a Marxist. Is he a Marxist? He must be a Marxist.
I think what he is a fucking partisan. What he is he's not an economist. He's
Your father is more of an economist than this guy.
Yeah, he's a left-wing fucking scumbag. And if it doesn't matter, he doesn't look at it from an economic standpoint.
Right.
Or from a standpoint of an economist. He looks at it from,
Can you make that thing go like this so it's up a little bit more?
can I
Just tilt it.
can I possibly write something horrible about this,
Right.
even though it will probably be fine?
Right.
And that's his deal. And he writes for the New York Times, of course, and he
he's from the
fucking
Times.
sucks.
Well, right. So the Times, which used to be the 8th wonder of the world and now lines the fucking bottom of my bird cage. Anyway, Brian Ross is the guy. Say that again?
Before you even read it,
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. That's
it
what.
immediately goes in. There's no point.
It's
I don't read
cheaper
anything.
than masking paper.
There's also like, most of them, like, there are a lot of columnists from the New York Times that are gay.
Well, of course.
And not columnists.
An inordinate proportion of them also.
Not just columnists. I mean, we're talking about journalists.
They might
People
have to. They
that
should
are
call it the
actually
New York Gay
supposed to
Times.
be impartial,
Yeah.
and they're gay. And you know they're not impartial.
No. However, you're not saying it's impossible to be impartial if you're gay. You're just saying if you're in that business and you're gay, you're
Well,
not impartial. Probably. You're in that
7
business.
or 8 of them that I've watched on television are not impartial.
Yeah.
So it's just, maybe they're not gay. They're the metrosexual, you know.
Yeah, right.
They
should call it the Metrosexual Times.
women beat them. You know, they're
whatever.
with women. They might
The
as
only reason why women beat them
They
is
should
they're not
be gay.
swinging back. Women would beat me if they wanted to because I'm not hitting a girl.
Yeah, but I mean, they you know, honey, take out the trash and,
that type of beating.
and go get me a fucking,
And like it.
go get me some Haagen-Dazs. And suck my toes when you get home.
So the second place winner of Donald Trump's fucking fake news awards was that guy Brian Ross. If you remember, he's an ABC news reporter, and he reported inaccurately that.
Well, he didn't know. He flat out lied.
Well, that ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn was going to testify that Trump, while he was still a candidate, ordered Flynn to make contact with the Russians, which was just, I mean...
He made it up.
He made it up. He speculated. At best, he speculated.
He made it up.
He made it up. You're right. The ABC News boss over there, James Goldston, said that Ross would be reassigned after a 4-week unpaid suspension, and
should be fired.
And he actually moved him to the news operation outside. It's called Lincoln Square Productions. The guy still has a job. CNN came in third. CNN as a whole, which is great. Donald Trump is such a ball buster. He was awarded. They were awarded because they made a correction that it issued over the dates in the report about Trump and his son, Don Jr. They got access. They said that they got access to WikiLeaks hacked documents before they became publicly available. CNN issued a correction saying, CNN's initial reporting of the date on the email sent to the members of the Trump campaign about WikiLeaks documents, which was confirmed by 2 sources to CNN, was incorrect. That's all they said. That was their fucking mea culpa, right? CNN won the most fake news awards from the whole thing. So these are your other winners. In fourth place.
Got to be Jim Acosta.
Fourth place is Times report that Trump had removed the bust of MLK Jr. from the White House. Apparently, he never removed the bust. By the way, I would probably remove the bust, not because I don't like MLK, but if I'm fucking decorating the place, I can think of a few other things I want in there than a bust of MLK. You know what I mean? Just because you're president doesn't mean you have to have MLK's bust in the fucking Oval Office. But he didn't move it anyway.
Right.
So number 5 was the Washington Post. There was a reporter called Dave Weigel, and he took a photo of a Trump rally suggesting low turnout taken before the event.
Oh, I remember this.
Started, right?
Yeah.
Hadn't even started.
I remember that.
He's like, nobody's here. Nobody's here. I bet you Dave speaks with a lisp, too, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after him, another CNN video showing Trump overfeeding some fish while he was visiting the prime minister of fucking Japan. I guess he didn't like that one. Just the whole makes you look like an idiot for not knowing how much to feed them, and then the whole overfeeding thing because people like to pick on him because he's fat, I guess. But whatever. He's a little sensitive about that.
He was overfeeding the fish?
Yeah, I don't remember this
What
one.
fucking fish?
They're, like they had like koi or something, like a koi pond or some shit.
What did he throw a fucking Big Mac into the koi pond?
I guess the shit's like it's like flakes, fish flakes.
Yeah.
And it comes in like a big box. It looks like a big baking soda box or something. And he just kept pouring it in there. You're only supposed to he was just like, whatever.
Maybe they're hungry.
So he didn't know. You know what I mean? That's the point. So, and then Newsweek had a report that the Polish First Lady declined to shake Trump's hand, and it was just, they made it up.
Right.
They made it up. The next one is CNN had a report that former FBI Director James Comey would dispute Trump's claim of being told he's not under investigation. And he never disputed that. He never disputed that. Number 10 was a New York Times article on Trump. Oh, the Trump administration climate report, which it was a fucking regular article on the front page, but it was a piece of commentary. It was commentary. And you know what I mean? They had a byline, a fucking Washington. It was a piece of commentary that should have been in the editorial section. You know what I mean?
About Trump's stance on global warming or something? Or
the Trump administration put out a climate report. And they commented on it and broke it apart and ridiculed it like it was a fucking editorial. And they passed it off as an article, you know what I mean, on the front page.
Yeah.
Just the language in it was just all fucked up. And then number 11 is anything to do with Russia collusion, because Trump says there's no collusion, of course. You know what I mean? So that's his fakies.
They have zero to date. They have zero evidence
of anything to do with Russia.
That Trump colluded with Russia.
And by the way, it was Hillary's campaign that probably colluded with Russians. And by the way, never mind just colluding with them anyway, but I've said this before.
Oh, no. Well, Hillary, as Secretary of State, did things that are, I bet you dollars for donuts, she did things that are indictable as Secretary of State.
Concerning Russia or just with the whole email thing?
With Russia and this, what is it, the uranium deal? Because Bill is in tight with Frank, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong. It's like Guistria, Drista or something like that.
Justra or something.
Justra, and he is a big mining mogul in Canada. And that's Bill's pal.
Mining uranium.
And he's donated countless billions of dollars to the Clinton
fucking foundation.
Global Initiative.
Oh, that's what
Foundation.
It's called. Those are two separate things, right?
And this is the one that they sold the uranium. You know, he sort of brokered the uranium thing where they sold the was it U.S. uranium to? I don't even remember.
I don't know shit about that, by the way. I'm trying to figure out who she sold it. Did she sell it to Russia?
It's all too close to be just fucking coincidence.
Right.
And plus, you know, you're dealing with two of them are fucking criminals to begin with. And there's more of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's shit that she did in other countries where, hey, you know, pay my husband $500,000 for two, you know, for each speech, give him two, and then we'll favorable fucking trading status to your country.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not that she's not that stupid, but it's pretty much that simple.
Right.
You know, when you go look at it, you go, now wait a minute. They paid fucking, you know, Slick Willie $750,000 each for two speeches, and then 3 weeks later they got, you know, most favorable trading nation. So it's thank God these people they're out. They have no power.
Right.
They're gone. And until she's dead,
can you
because
imagine?
he's not going to do anything. He's not running for anything.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump was actually approached for a deal like that? He would laugh. You know what I mean?
Well, he doesn't need the money.
He doesn't need the money. That's the other thing.
And he's not. I mean, he's got to be somewhat greedy, but he's not like her. She's just fucking insatiably greedy.
She's power greedy
for everything.
Power greedy.
Greedy for power. Greedy for money. She's just greedy.
Yeah. The only thing I got. The only other Washington, D.C. thing I got today is the shutdown appears to be looming. But to me, I'm very cynical about that. I'm like, there's never going to be a shutdown. They're never going to make it happen. And now it's weird that the Democrats want to shut the government down, which is weird. And the Republicans are trying to keep it running because they're in charge. And when it's the other way around, it seems to make more sense. But this time it doesn't. It's not making any sense to me. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about it. Why is it going to shut down? They can't come to a. Do they have to?
They're
locked up on this DACA thing.
Yeah,
and the Paul Ryan's guys aren't giving in, but it looks like they might have to give in. You know what I mean? Anything that has to do with DACA, that's what they're fucking holding their breath and turning blue and stamping their feet about right now. The Democrats, and they have enough votes or whatever to hold everything up and to fucking shut down the government and stop funding it. It's just weird because you can put a lot of bureaucrats out of fucking work for at least a little while. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem like the whole normal thing for the Democratic Party. That's how much they're trying to get this DACA thing going. Do you know much about DACA?
Well, DACA is what is it? What's the acronym stand for?
Dreamers are cunt assholes. I don't know what it means.
Let's find out what it means.
Well, see,
I used to know what it means.
I fucking do this fucking whole setup thinking you know what's going on, and you don't know any more than I do, or less. You might actually be a better bullshitter than me.
Could be.
You know, we're both looking this up, and I'm just gonna continue to let people know that not only is Joe a good bullshitter, he also can communicate in English very well about stuff that he knows. But more often than not,
Full of shit.
You're full of fucking shit.
Deferred action for childhood arrivals.
Okay.
Is what DACA means.
Right. Boy, did I vamp really good there.
So, this is the thing where they had the meeting and they were negotiating DACA for the wall.
Right. Yeah. The wall is involved, but funding for the wall.
Yeah, and I don't think it's all the wall, but I think it's...
Wall is going to happen. That's the other thing. They're like, all right, no DACA, no wall, but it's like... That's how close we are to the wall, by the way.
So...
Seen pictures of that thing? It's impressive.
The Democrats, yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures.
Pretty cool, huh?
They've got a lot of designs.
A lot of concrete going on.
Reinforced concrete's the way to go.
Yep.
Pre-stressed concrete.
Yep.
But DACA is a... so I guess if you show up here when you're 2 years old because mom and dad brought you over illegally,
right,
you don't want to throw these people out.
Unless they have a hyphenated name.
If they have a hyphenated name, they should be executed.
Right. Most of them do in that fucking
But
southern border.
I don't...
T.
And I kind of agree with that. You know, if you've been here since you were 2, sending you back to a country that you have no recollection
but
of.
It's still inextricably tied to people who aren't...
Well, who broke the law.
Right,
They
who broke the
came
law.
here illegally.
Right.
Your parents came here illegally, and you were 2 years old, and then your brother was born in the United States. So, yeah, it's just a shit show. And
by the way,
I don't know.
If you're all hung up about illegals voting, they don't get to vote. There's not that much illegal people voting, but there are some, I'm sure. But you at least got to fucking have a fucking name and an address and have not showed up to vote yet. You know what I mean? I still do think we need voter ID in this country, though. It's beyond me that we don't have voter ID for some reason. I don't. I'm not even saying I'm uncomfortable with the way elections turn out, because I'm really not, especially in this country. But it's just bizarre that you don't get, when you register to vote, you should have a little card that says you're registered to vote.
Well, it's odd that you need an ID for almost everything.
Other than that, it's bizarre, right?
But people think that it's okay not to prove who you are to vote.
It's bizarre. You walk in and you go, I'm Al Capozzi from such and such street. And they go, Al Capozzi from such and such street. And they check you off. Now, anybody could have walked in there and said, I'm Al Capozzi.
But then when you walk in and
then
say,
I can't vote.
No, but you can, because you can walk in and you go, I'm Al Capozzi, and then you show your ID and they wipe out that vote.
Are you sure?
I believe so.
I wonder if they have the technology to do so. It's just some fucking card that goes into a reader with the other 1,000 cards. So, they could probably go through it by hand and figure it out, right?
Get rid of it.
I don't think that I don't think that the cards, they have any way to tell if it was Al Capozzi's card, though. They just give you a blank card. So what do you do there?
Right.
So that dude's fucking vote still counts.
Right.
It's fucking bizarre, right? And then someone else could walk in and say to me, and then what? And then what?
Well, they check you off. So they'll say, well, you already voted.
Like I said, so say somebody playing a trick on me, a buddy who's smart and funny, goes in, he knows I'm voting at fucking 7:45. He goes in at 7:15, 7:30. I'm Al Capozzi from 158 Court Street. They go, Al Capozzi from 158 Court Street. They check me off. They give him a blank card. He goes and votes for everyone I'm not going to vote for.
Just gave you last name and address.
I'm sorry. Did I say Court Street?
158.
I'll block that off. What is that, about 44 seconds in? Hold on, let me write that down. So you follow what I'm saying? Now I walk in 15, 20 minutes later. I'm like, Al Capozzi. Al whatever the fuck my name is. Fucking whatever the fuck my address is. And they go, oh, we already checked you off. I go, no. Here's my fucking ID. And they go, well, you were already here. I go, and you're trying to vote twice. So what do? You just put your foot down? Now the cop's coming over. What happens? You know what I mean? I go, no. I wasn't fucking here. Fucking, they're not videotaping it. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to get to vote.
Well, I don't know how much it happens.
Probably doesn't happen a lot is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's the one thing about the illegals thing. I'm like, don't worry about illegals voting. They're not getting to vote. It's fucking pretty tough to get. You know what I mean? You got to fucking at least have an address and a name and be registered. There's not a lot of illegal fucking immigrants voting. Undocumented people. You got to be documented to vote.
I don't know that.
I am saying that's what my feeling is.
You know, you make these declarative statements. And,
it's not even declarative.
And I know
it's
that you
logic.
have no
it's
idea
logic.
what the fuck you're talking about.
I think I'm talking and speaking in logic.
Why wouldn't you vote? If you don't need an ID.
Because you still have to be on the list of registered voters. They have the list of registered voters, your name and address, and you got to be checked off to be able to give a card to. That's
Can
all.
you go down there with a fake lease and an address? You think the illegals?
Yeah, but if you're not on the list, you got to be already on the list.
I understand.
That's
that.
why you have to
But
register.
you can go
to
down
vote.
and register
On the day, I don't think you can do that.
No, on a fake with a fake name. They have same day registration.
I don't think there's that much.
Plus,
of that
now
going
you
on.
can-
It sounds
you
like
can-
a lot of fucking.
You can vote
steps to-
online. You can do absentee ballots.
I don't think there's a lot.
Look,
of
I don't know how
hanky-panky
many
going
people
on.
are voting.
I don't think there's a lot.
I don't know.
of hanky-panky going on. I think there's a lot of votes
How
that
would
don't
you
get counted.
How would you know?
By the way, I don't like the whole absentee voting thing. Fuck you. And Dave,
Well,
I know you absentee vote and you love it. Fuck off.
I also don't.
If you want to vote, you go vote on fucking election day with everybody else. No more hanky-panky with these fucking people who've already voted because they were write-in voters. Fuck that, or whatever you call it. Early. What's the early voting thing? You know what I'm talking about? You can vote
yeah,
early.
I don't understand.
Absentee balloting.
Well, no, they have early voting.
Yeah, fuck that.
You
No
can-
more of that.
I mean, in some of these states have.
You wanna vote,
You can
vote
vote
on
2
election
months
day.
before the fucking.
That's where all the hanky-panky is with those fucking things because they're handled differently and you know what I mean? They put them in storage. Half the time they don't even count them. They put them in storage. Then they have the regular election. They count all those. And if it's some fucking math, if it's like half of 1%, they don't even count the absentee fucking ballots most of the time. So why would you do that? It's just math. It's math. It's math on that that level of fucking election math. They don't even count the absentee ballots that much. You know what I'm saying, Joe?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to change gears. No more fucking national politics tonight. We're going to talk about current events other than fucking government. All right? Sound good? I got some fun stuff to talk about.
All right.
All right, buddy? Am I fucking keeping you awake?
No.
Long ago, seems like yesterday. Saw you standing in the rain. Then I heard you say, I want to love but it comes out wrong. I want to live but I don't belong. I close my eyes and I see blood and roses. yesterday. Saw you standing in the rain. Then I heard you say, I need your love, but it comes out wrong. I tried to live, but I don't belong. I close my eyes and I see blood and roses. Blood and roses. Blood and roses. Blood and roses.
And we're back.
Blow me.
Hey, we talked a little bit a show or 2 or 3 or 2, 4 or 5 ago about Amazon, and it looked like Boston had a crack at their second headquarters, and I had announced that they fucked that up somehow, and Amazon just put out 20 finalists, official finalists for its second headquarters, and surprisingly, Boston is on there, but I don't think it's going to happen for Boston because it's just too hard to get shit done here in our little fucking neck of the fucking highly unionized world. By the way, unions fucking fuck a lot of shit up for regular working Joes, including construction guys. You know what I mean? Unions suck, and they're evil. And if
there's
you're
a
in
lot
a
of-
union, fuck off.
No,
Fuck
no.
you.
See, I disagree. There's unions in like the construction business. I'm all for.
Yeah, but they make it hard for the independent contractor to fucking do their thing.
Look, these right to work states, right to work just means you're allowed to fuck your employees over. You don't have to give them any notice when you fire them. They're just, all they are is, low paid. There's no security.
Yeah.
And that overall, that doesn't work very well in a society. Now, I discussed our electric company is EverSource, and we pay some of the highest electric costs. I droned about this in at least one of these episodes, so I'll keep it short. But there was a woman that showed up at my house looking for money for my electric bill, and when I said to her, okay, I'm going to pay you the entire amount, which was $1,300, she had no way of taking the money. And after some conversation with her, she wasn't college educated, which doesn't matter, but you would think if you got $44 an hour with a pension and fat health insurance and 5 weeks of vacation, that maybe you'd be college educated for $44 an hour and know how to take a payment.
Right.
And that's part of the problem. And basically, the electric company is a monopoly because, you can't have 2 electric companies. They have some bullshit on your electric bill where you can choose your, who is your supplier, your energy supplier. But the delivery is basically done by by one company.
Right.
And and that's an example of a union run amok. $44 an hour is a lot of money to be paying a fucking moron.
Well, certainly someone who's just walking around. Then it's not like she's up on the line. If you're up on the line, 44.
No, she's
sounds
walking
pretty
around
good.
collecting money, and when you say, okay, I got a check, I got a credit card.
And by the way, she must have been a quote-unquote older gal, probably in her 40s, late 40s.
I think she was
40s.
50s or so.
Oh, all right. She definitely was an older gal.
And just
Sorry, Joe. We are older gals.
incapable,
Or guys, whatever.
incapable of taking the money.
Weird, right?
If you show up looking for money and someone says, okay, what do you think they're going to
It's
have?
a weird
Cash?
story. It's a weird story. It's like
They won't take cash. They can't take a check, and they can't take a
the
credit
very
card.
definitions of going through the motions. That's all she was doing.
Well, my next door neighbor has a fucking card reader for his cell phone. You would think that the electric company would have a way to take.
Why? What's he taking money for? On his cell phone.
I don't know. I think I lied. It was somebody that was in
my wife has
cabana
one.
today.
My wife has one because she does all those weird, like chick Julie shit, all the pyramid scheme shit.
I
She
said
loves
next
that
door
shit.
neighbor because nobody would know who they are. and
That's
it's-
fine.
But who was just telling?
Who has a card reader?
Gary, the garage door guy.
All right.
He can take a credit card now.
Like for lessons?
No, for his fucking doors.
Oh, for the doors. That
Yeah.
part of his life.
Yes.
All right, well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, no, I'm
So if he can do it, and he's a moron,
yeah.
then
Sorry, Gary, buddy. Although I don't
electric
think he knows
company-
about this show.
the fucking Eversource could send these people out with a fucking card reader so that they could scan a credit card.
By the way, we always talk about people who I know that are listening. Do you have any people listening?
Not that I know of,
No? Does
except my wife.
your wife listens? None of the guys from the job site are listening?
I haven't
Scott
told-
was listening for a
I
little
don't
while.
tell anybody.
Wasn't Scott listening for a little
Scott
while?
busy. Yeah, Scott and
Don't say his last name.
Scott was listening, and I don't know whether he is or not.
Okay, no, I was just wondering. It's just interesting. 'Cause I
He
tried
liked it.
I tried to get my father's boss there, his ex-boss, but the job he had before he retired. Once in a while I send that guy Dave an email with a link saying, "What do you think of this show?" Instead of, you know what I mean? Like the one because he's the one who has the most, let's say, the most constructive criticism comes from Dave on Dribs and Drabs.
Yes.
So I sent him the show where I did my Chappelle rant, which, by the way, was a previously written, pre-penned bit that I pulled off.
Yeah, but you beeped everything.
Yeah, but that was the bit. That was part of the bit. That was a bit.
All right.
So I said, listen to this. I want you to give me some feedback. And he sends it back and he goes, all right, but I can't friend you guys or anything because of business and stuff or work and stuff. And I said, and all I sent him back, I just said, we're not that controversial, LOL. You know what I mean? And I never put LOL, but I had to put that in that thing to him. We're not that controversial, by the way.
But now your dad doesn't listen now.
He doesn't listen because the time that he had, my dad is a listener, like I'm a listener and you're a listener. He's constantly listening to something. The stuff that he listens to, he just doesn't have time to listen to us. He just doesn't.
Well, that's
fine.
That's fine.
He actually heard the first few shows and he thought it was funny, but he likes, he listens to Howard, he listens to sports talk, he listens to some political, you know what I mean? He just doesn't have time to listen to our show.
There's a lot of competition.
Yeah, and that's fine,
There's a lot of people vying for ears.
Like I said to Dave, I told Dave we're not that controversial. We're not that interesting. You know what I mean? My father knows what you and I are gonna go on about. You know what I mean?
Well, you never know.
I think he's been
We
around.
could come
the two
out
of
as homosexual
which is
lovers.
weird because
he wouldn't think that.
But my brother Dave, who's been gone for 25 years, you know what I mean? He's never been around me and you. He doesn't get the dynamic. My dad understands the dynamic between me and you.
Right.
I mean, this show
Is that why Dave? You think that's why Dave finds it entertaining?
Yeah,
'Cause he didn't understand.
No, I think he kind of got it. Also because he was not that the dynamic between your old man and my old man is similar, but there was a dynamic. Understand? Not a lot of dudes have dynamics between them. Your dad and my dad had some fucking wacky dynamic between them.
Mm-hmm.
We have a wacky dynamic, but it's not the same wacky. They're both fruit. One's an apple, one's an orange. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But those two had a comedic fucking dynamic, don't you think? You ever fucking witnessed those two idiots?
Oh, of course.
Oh, my God.
I used to listen all the time.
Just funny as shit.
It was my father lecturing your father
And my father taking it for as long as he could
and leaving.
and then either leaving or telling him to fucking leave. Get the fuck out of my house. I'll see you next weekend, cunt. You know what I mean?
So that was basically it.
Man, those guys used to drink a lot of beer, dude.
And whiskey.
Was your old man a whiskey guy? I actually didn't know that. I guess I
Well,
forgot
he's
that.
one of those people that, just like myself, who gets in trouble when he gets into the whiskey.
Those fucking guys were the original, and this is before 30 packs. It would be like 2 suitcases of fucking Bud have been consumed, and somebody pulls a $10 bill out and says, "Go get us another suitcase of Bud." You know what I mean?
It's not a stretch that we both ended up drunks.
Yeah, right. Well, Jesus Christ. Yeah, like we're just, those guys actually perfected it, and we're just kind of honing it. You know what I mean?
we
Can
actually.
you imagine?
I believe I actually drink less now because of my Bud 55 Select.
Oh, you consume less alcohol is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and I've kind of tapered off on the, I'm not doing that much drinking.
Yeah.
I still, every day there's a few beers,
Yeah,
but
I get drunk every day.
yeah, I'm
Not shit-faced, but I get a buzz. Even if that means 2 beers quick.
Let's put
and
it
no
this
more.
way. I haven't been drunk enough so when I wake up in the morning, I know that I had anything to drink the night before.
Right.
And that is because I can't stand the hangover.
Being a hungover, that's the worst. I refuse to be hungover. I just don't get out of bed. I'm able to sleep through a hangover. Most people aren't. You know what? I'm smart enough now that I just don't get hangovers anymore, dude. I just don't.
Well, you are
And if I do, I eat my way right through it.
you're a much better drinker than I am. You have your system takes the booze better.
I think, I think you're probably right. So, yeah, because everybody's
Now,
different.
I don't know whether it's just your makeup, or I don't know whether it's because you've been guzzling hard liquor for so long it doesn't bother you. But if I drank
Tolerance,
the
my mother calls it.
hard,
Tolerance.
well, remember we went to fucking Milwaukee, and I would try to keep up with you, and I'd be asleep at fucking 6 o'clock.
Yeah, but at the same time, you drink way more beer. Well, not anymore, but I've known you to put 4 or 5 30 packs away in a week. That's a
Yeah.
lot of beer drinking, especially in the summer. You're probably down to 2 or 3 right now.
you
but
get thirsty in the summer. It's hot out.
it's hot out, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I ever consumed that much beer, but you're right. I see.
You're good at it.
I like booze. I like beer. Like, oh, by the way, beer is delicious, right?
Yes.
Beer. I mean, not just the flavor.
Beer's a perfect food.
First of all,
let's face it.
It tastes great, right? And then
Yes.
the texture, right? Of a perfectly cold beer. You drink out of the can. I like it in a cup. When I got here, I had one of them. By the way, you can't buy a fucking single anymore. When you buy a single, it's a double. It's always 2 beers,
Yeah.
big cans. So I bought a Corona single, which is a double. And you got to drink it quick because you want it to be cold. And man, the texture of it is beautiful. It tastes great. These Bud Select 55s aren't bad, man. I had a cold. If they're fucking ice cold,
They gotta be ice cold.
the texture is so nice. It tastes good. It's cold. I mean,
tastes like almost nothing.
in the words of Benjamin Franklin, beer
bubbles
is
in.
proof that there is a God and that he loves us very much.
Right.
And
Well,
I
that's
don't
true.
believe in God, but it's a good thing. Beer is a good thing. And you gotta, like anything.
There'd be a lot
else-
more suicides without beer.
Here's the thing. You know, you talk about your 10,000 hours
Yes.
for guitar playing or for learning a skill at
I
work.
definitely have 10,000 hours of beer drinking in.
We're talking about expert beer drinkers here. You know what I
Fucking
mean?
ultra professional.
If there's anything that I'm a fucking expert in, it's drinking beer. And I'm getting there with booze too. But beer, I'm an expert at. And I believe you are too. Hey, I wasn't feeling too good this week. I thought I had a little stomach bug. Apparently the flu's going around. And it's not just going around. It's already killing people.
Really?
And not just in Texas, where they had to shut down a couple fucking school systems.
Did they let a bunch of Haitians
There's
in?
a teacher in Swampscott, right? That's not that far from here. As the crow flies,
Probably flew next to a Haitian from Miami.
it's like 45 miles from here as the crow flies.
Now she's got the creepy
No,
claws
no, no.
all
She's
over her box.
she's dead from the flu.
Really?
56 years old, music teacher, dead from the flu.
Well,
The flu is already killing people, son.
It's
That's
not-
why you got it. That's why jobs like you have and I have are good. You don't have to fucking interact with a lot of people. If you work in a grocery store,
we do need a fucking pandemic, though. Don't you agree?
what, to thin out the crowd, thin out the
Oh, my
fucking crowd
God.
a little bit.
And it just goes after like
What was the last pandemic? Was AIDS a pandemic?
no. I mean,
For a minute.
I want to say the turn of the century, wasn't there the fucking Spanish
You're talking
flu fucking thing?
1900s into the I'm sorry. The
Eight-
1800s into the 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not this millennium.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking pandemic, like,
Century. What was that called? Spanish flu?
it was some sort of, I don't.
Don't talk out your ass, buddy.
I know. And I always preface.
I know I'm
I
interviewing
don't
you,
know what I'm taking. I don't know what I'm talking about. But there's. Let me look up.
There's the junior senator from the great state of Massachusetts, or the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Edward Markey.
Just a
Edward Markey. Hey, Ed.
insufferable dickhead.
The House is voting to avert a shutdown. As we speak, the fate in the Senate is unclear. Oh, look at Ed getting all worked up. He's animated. Hey, Ed, how much do you want Elizabeth Warren dead?
Why? So he can run for president?
No, he ain't going to run for president. He's too old. He should simply be our fucking senior senator, though. The guy at least put the time in. I hate that Elizabeth Warren is the face of our delegation. I hate it. As much as Ed Markey is a doddering old fool, I would feel more comfortable if people around the country knew that he was the head of our delegation, not fucking Elizabeth Warren, who doesn't fucking represent the interests of regular people from Massachusetts in any fucking way at all.
Well, she represents the Cambridge people.
Yeah, the People's Republic of Cambridge. That's what we call them, right? And it's not even regular. That is the Politburo. It's the Politburo. All of those fucking... And Jim Browdy among them, by the way. You know what I mean? There's a guy who's supposed to be in the fourth estate, and he is a fucking card-carrying fucking member of the fucking Communist Party.
1918 influenza pandemic.
Oh, influenza. The flu, okay. That was the last one? I thought we had a flu pandemic in our lifetime at some point, and I'm talking recent.
Well, yeah,
since I had kids.
2009.
Oh, okay, I was right.
But the number of deaths in 1918 was 50 million people.
Well, worldwide. Holy shit, that's
We
a lot
need
of people.
one of those.
To thin out some shit. Does it say how many people in America die from that? It probably wasn't that much. If it was 50 million...
600,000.
I was going to say, if it was 50 million worldwide, it's going to be less than a million here. That's still a lot of people. I'm sure it was a significant... so there was probably 150 million people here at the time. So,
We need like a good 20 or 30 million.
A third of a
cleared
percent.
out here.
20 or 30 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, dude.
I think they...
I mean,
You know, I was
where
just-
you want to clear them out from? L.A.,
No.
Miami,
We gotta
Chicago. Certainly not Boston.
we gotta find something that works. Like, if you buy over a certain amount of lottery tickets, this flu affects you.
They put the flu
you-
in the shit right under the silver shit that you're scratching. They
Yeah.
put the flu in that.
Yeah.
Shoo, retarded flu. And if you scratch that, and they announce it beforehand, there'll be a lot of fucking paper mask wearing motherfuckers scratching that thing, hoping to not get the flu.
People that have
Better wear gloves too, bitch. What a good idea. What a good idea.
Men that have fathered more than 2 children with 2 different women.
Oh, boy. The whole multiple baby mama and baby daddy thing, it's really,
They should be on
Joe, it's more prevalent than you think.
on the list. Oh, it's everywhere.
It's the norm. It's the norm.
See, now the 2000
There are more people with multiple baby mama daddy situations
Yes.
than a regular situation, a quote unquote regular situation.
I think if you have
We live a sheltered life.
I think if you have a certain number of tattoos and you buy lottery tickets,
Now listen.
you're out.
I'm only playing devil's advocate, but the whole tattoo thing it's a fad. You and me having no tattoo. I got this wedding ring tattoo. I mean,
I have no tattoos.
Most people don't have tattoos, but that's because most people over a certain age, tattoos is becoming a societal norm. It's weird. It's like when people.
Well, it shouldn't.
But it is. It's just like
And it
it's
will
the
end,
same thing as
And then all
Samoans
these people will be
getting
looked at
tattoos.
as freaks.
It's weird. It's a
only
cultural phenomenon.
500,000 people died in the world in 2009.
Hold on, 500,000 people died in total.
As opposed to 50 million in 1918.
Wow.
A lot of
From
people-
the flu.
From the flu.
Right.
So
It was a pretty bad strain back then. Although maybe it wasn't that bad.
It's an
just we didn't-
H1N1 virus. I guess that's the flu.
That was the one in 2009.
1918.
Oh, so that must have. Oh, so that's the.
Well,
Fucking, that's the
The
bad
one in
strain.
2009 was H1N1 as well.
Right. Yeah.
But
definitely.
PDM09 virus. H1N1 PDM09.
Yeah. There is a vaccine for it, by the way. Not a vaccine. What do you call it? Yeah. No. There's a, you
The
can get
flu
a
shot that'll keep you from getting it.
But you will get a cold or you'll have flu symptoms, but you won't die from.
I've never
H1.
had a flu shot.
I got it once, and I got the flu for 3 days, and then
So,
I haven't.
let's see
Joe,
who else should
Joe,
die.
Joe, I haven't had the
Tattooed.
Can I tell
Lottery
you?
tickets.
I haven't had a cold since I got the flu shot 10 years ago, and I only got it 1
Does
year.
it last for 10 years?
No, it's supposed to last for the season. What I'm telling
Now,
you
they
is,
say that you're supposed to go get the flu shot.
I had a little stomach bug this week, but I've never had the full-on flu, cold, fever, fucking coughing bullshit
Have you had pink
for
eye?
10 years. Why would you ask me that?
I don't know. You look like a kind of guy who would have pink eye.
What, I look like someone who puts his eye on someone's asshole? I mean, what is going on?
Well, that's what I was
That's how
thinking.
you get pink eye, by the way.
I thought maybe like
Someone has to shit in your eye and you're going to get pink eye. Or if they have pink
I
eye,
thought
they go
maybe
like
there'd be
this.
a cock heading at your mouth and it would just go into your
Why are
eye,
you asking me about pink eye? Who has pink eye?
and then a little piece of corn on the tip of the guy's dick
Who
with
has-
shit on it would float around on your eyeball for a while. And
Oh,
give
what do you
some
say?
pink
My
eye.
eyes are bloodshot or something?
You look like you have pink eye.
Right now, this second.
Your right eye has some pink eye going on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, so
Wait, it looks good.
Joe, don't lick my eye. That's all. Just don't lick my eyeball.
People that get pink eye more than twice in their life should die.
So anyway-
they have to. It's a very targeted disease.
So can I continue with the whole Amazon thing really quickly? It's
Of
an
course.
interesting. It's an interesting list. I love geography and I love cities, and so this is a fun list. So Amazon announced the 20 finalists for its second headquarters. Toronto's one of them, and then there's 19 U.S. locales, and this is just in alphabetical order. So take it for what it's worth. So Atlanta, Austin, Boston is still on the fucking list, which we know it ain't gonna happen because that's why we were talking about unions and shit. Chicago, fucking forget it. Columbus, Ohio, Dallas, Denver, Indy, L.A., Miami, and now here's the one that I think it's down to two in my personal opinion. Montgomery County, Maryland, which is suburban Maryland, right? Nashville, Newark, NYC, that ain't gonna happen. Northern Virginia, to me that means the suburbs as well. It's gonna be in the suburbs, you know what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Philly, Pittsburgh.
I apologize, but these are Amazon. What are they gonna have, a superstore, or
This is where they're
is this
looking.
where you're gonna be able to get like your package the same day type shit?
Yeah, and it's only going to be one of these though. That's going to be the main headquarters, and then they're going to have all little sub places.
Oh, so we're talking like a massive fucking building.
yeah,
somewhere.
50,000 people are going to work in that building alone, type of thing.
So it'll be relatively big.
Yeah, and then so Pittsburgh, Raleigh, North Carolina, Washington D.C., Toronto, like I said, and the last one on the list is Munson, Massachusetts.
No shit.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I don't know. I think they should put it in Toronto because that's where
Isn't that funny?
all of the black cocks will be delivered to all those fucking social justice warrior cunts.
I thought you were saying you were good with Canada right now. Now you're back on the little sister thing. I thought most of them were nice people.
Most of them are nice people,
Yeah.
except for Ottawa,
Well,
which is Toronto. Well, Toronto, Ottawa, basically the province of Ontario.
all right. So clearly we're done. This is the shortest show we've done in a while.
Why? How short is it?
An hour and 12 minutes, not even.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Well, we
done.
can go a little longer
I mean, I
if
can
you want.
talk. I just don't have anything else to talk about. Everything I've tossed out there, you're like, this isn't interesting, and you're right. I tried to get going on the flu thing. Beer is delicious. I thought that would last a lot longer. We actually, and you got to that before I did. Let's see.
Beer is delicious.
Happy anniversary. Trump 1 year. Ballbuster in chief. The fictitious
I tell you, my
novel that
daughter
is Russian.
wants to move to California.
Well, yeah, we kind of talked about like San Diego. When you say California, you mean San Diego?
Well, I thought it was
I
Los
hope for her.
Angeles, but she
Is she looking for a job?
not yet. She's going out the end of February. This is her like trip to see if she really wants to live there.
And she's going to stay with friends, or is she hoteling, or?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're asking. This is.
Well, I think that's an important part of the fucking equation.
She has to
personally.
first say, I'm moving. So she hasn't done that yet. She's going out. I hooked her up with an old college buddy of mine who lives in San Diego.
Okay.
Because I said, you know, why don't you meet with somebody that's, one, he's a very successful tech guy,
Okay.
which is the business she's in, and two, he's lived there for 20 years, so he can probably give her some, you know, cogent facts based on, you know, what it's really like to live here, you know, what are the pitfalls, what are the good things, that kind of thing.
Right.
And he's a very nice guy. So he
went to college with you?
and I went to college together, and we were very close in college.
Does he have similarly aged children?
His kids are younger.
Okay.
He was a corporate guy. He did quite well for himself.
Nice. Good for him.
And but the most important thing, he's a very, very nice. He's a good person. Very good guy.
Man, I can only think of like one of my fucking UMass compatriots who did well. You got a bunch of guys who did well.
Everybody did better than me. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you guys all did all right, but I'm just saying,
Well, I just have a good.
thinking about my fucking circle of friends, it's fucking. I mean, there's a bunch of salesmen, and they're all salesmen.
Everybody did, well, that I can think of, did pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
But
I'm
we
thinking
were
about
in
define pretty
hard.
well, but I don't want to get
Everybody
into
I knew though was either was a business guy or hard science. You know,
That's
so
what I'm
engineering.
saying. Yeah, you had engineering. I had a bunch of fucking liberal arts, fucking namby-pamby, fucking pantywaist.
Which
as friends.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's who.
It's just the way
that's
it was.
where you were.
That's where I was. Yeah.
So I mean, the hard sciences guy. You know, two of my pals were electrical engineering, and that's the program I was in before I decided that. I don't know whether I decided or I failed a class and said, but yeah, I was pretty much I hated it, so that's how I try to cobble together a math degree, and then it eventually got that.
Yeah.
But everybody ended up doing good. Everybody's doing very well.
But you called some shit from your initial not approach, but your initial on your road to trying to attain an engineering degree before you figured that you're going to get a math degree. You did learn some shit, right?
Yeah, I
It's
was
not-
always interested in
Yeah, you learned
electrical shit.
right, right.
So, yes, I did.
Yeah, I think in college I learned at least how to organize yourself enough to get done the minimum that needs to get done. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I learned. Although I think the writing thing has helped. Like, it's funny, the proposal writing doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like something that's hard to pull off, but I read other people's proposals, and you got to at least speak in the fucking same tense within a paragraph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to be able to spell, and you got to know the difference between there, and there,
Yeah.
and your, and
Yeah.
all that shit. And nothing
you do.
in English is pluralized with an apostrophe S.
No.
Nothing in English is pluralized with an apostrophe S. It's amazing how many people don't get that. You know what I mean?
Apostrophe S means ownership.
It means ownership at all times.
Yes,
You know,
always.
even if it's at the end of an abbreviation,
Yes.
like RFIs, right?
Yes.
Request for information. That's big R, big F, big I, little s. It's not big I apostrophe little s. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, maybe maybe I'm being too hypercritical, but
No, it's important.
yeah. So that's,
'Cause
I got to say, that's another
we
thing.
talk about this. This is what we call an institution. And if you lose it forever.
What's an interest? What do you mean?
English.
Oh, yeah. Oh, English is an institution.
And English as an institution and how to use. If you have everybody writing and it's, their disease and it's THERE. If you lose it and you just stop giving a shit, that's when it all goes to shit. And you got nobody that knows the right way to do it anymore.
See, on one hand, I always argue for evolving English. English is a living language. Things are accepted to change, but there's a difference between written and spoken. There's a difference between written and spoken. It's written differently.
Well, there's some rules.
Yeah.
With everything, there's always some rules, and there's some fundamental rules that probably aren't going to change that much.
And by the way, English is the hardest language in the world to grasp all of its.
I've heard
it has
that.
It has more exceptions than it has rules, and the other two and I'm going to tell you, this is why we're fucking in charge, and this is why the Russians are in charge, and this is why the Chinese are in charge. The top 3 languages that are the hardest to learn if you didn't grow up speaking them are not just spoken. We're talking written. I don't care if someone can speak fluently. A lot of people can speak fluently. A lot of those fluent speaking motherfuckers have no grasp on grammar and writing, okay? The hardest to actually learn are English, Russian, and Mandarin Chinese. And those are the 3 fucking countries that are fucking involved. Just that's it. You're either under the sphere of the U.S., English, you're under the sphere of Russia, Russian, or you're under the sphere of China.
Well, the thing that I could see that in English that's very unique is that you can, just by inflection, 2 statements can have drastically different meanings. Like I could say, I'm going to the store. Now that's a statement. And then I could say, I'm going to the store?
Yeah.
Which is sort of a question.
How about
After your wife says, you got to go down and get me some fucking tampons. I'm going to the store? So just by inflection, it means 2 different things.
Yeah, there's 10 different things going on there. You can go, I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store.
Right.
I'm going to the store. Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put emphasis on any of those words, and then you either make it declarative or a question.
Right.
You're right. English is fucked.
It's very fucked.
It doesn't happen with all other languages, by the way. Indo-European languages tend to be more complex than others. And Russian is a Slavic language, which is different than believe it or not, Slavic languages and Indo-European languages don't fall into the same fucking tree.
I'm going to make a declarative statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to bed.
All right, buddy. I was trying to fucking get on a whole other thing, but that's fine.
So
Look at this guy on the right. How fucking deep is his right fucking
God.
thumb knuckle been in a dog's anus?
Oh. He looks like he's had a mouth
He's
around
fusion
the dog's cock for
GPS
weeks.
co-founder. Oh, more Trump. Oh, everyone's got an erection. More talk about Trump and the Russians.
Those are the people that made the dossier.
Right.
The fake one.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was paid for by the DNC.
They're
still talking about that.
They are
Fucking piece of
perpetuators of fiction. All right, so anyway, I'm Al.
I'm
He's
Joe.
Joe. We're having a lot of fun. Everybody have a good weekend.
We'll be more excited on Tuesday.
Well, here's the
or
other
whenever you hear the next one.
We've
after
done
this.
like four out of our last 5 shows have been 2 hours, dude. So that's fine. We're doing fine.
Well, what do we get? An hour and a half?
An hour and 21. That's fine.
Beautiful.
That is what it is. So anyway,
That's what you get. And if you don't like it, fuck you. Listen to something else.
Listen to something else, you cunt.
Yeah.